guys, welcome to my first, I guess this isn't my first official blog, or vlog, is it? It's more of a first official sit down and chat with you sort of vlog. I've never done one of these before because I'll be completely honest, I was completely intimidated by them just because like the whole concept of setting up my camera, which doesn't have very good autofocus, was just kind of a little bit stressful for me. But with the help of a few incredible bloggers, and they're also vloggers, they were willing to help me out and set this up. So an overwhelming amount of you, like 98% of you on Instagram, asked for me to do more sit-down vlogs with you guys. And the other like 2 to 3% that weren't really interested were interested in more of the travel content, which is completely fine because I do plan on sharing more of that anyways. But I think seems like a lot of you send me the same questions over and over again. And I am the type of person where I don't think I have all the answers. So it's kind of nice to open up a dialogue. And I'm really hoping that this YouTube channel is a way for you to escape reality and have fun with the cinematic, sort of the more cinematic videos that I do, but also the more the videos that I'm more casual and I can talk to you about just everyday normal things. So I was going to initially do a video of like 20 fun facts about me, but a majority of my followers have been with me for a few years now, and so they would know these fun facts like I'm left-handed or I'm classically trained in Indian dancing, something like that. But a lot of you don't know. I thought instead of doing these 20 random fun facts, I thought I would look back on 9 questions I wanted to ask myself after the completion of 2017. For me, when I think of achievement, I think of something more tangible, like a trophy or a certificate or something like that. But for me, it was more of, I feel more settled in London. One thing that a lot of people don't know about, and I promise to bring up, talk about this, is that I had a hard time settling in London. It was such a fairy tale move because I think the city is so vibrant and dynamic, but it was very difficult because I had left everyone back home, but just being physically away from that unconditional love was quite hard. But it was back in May when I went home, and on my way back, I remember I had been traveling for a month, so I was just looking forward to getting back to London. And the second I got back to London and got into my groove again, I just felt like secure in a way. And it was at that moment, I was on the tube, actually on the Piccadilly line from Knightsbridge, and I had just gone on a walk with my friend Natasha, and I just felt like, okay, things are good and things are quite simple, and it just felt like normal. That achievement just made me feel resilient. As I mentioned, I had a hard time settling in, and part of that hard time was just meeting the wrong people out here. I think it's very much like it's very hard to move to a different country. People are hit or miss, because even though we all speak the same language, the mannerisms, the behavior, the sort of the whole concept of what they deem is important, not important, where their priorities are, that's completely different from person to person and culture to culture. And London is made up of all sorts of cultures. So yeah, I went through a lot of, I felt like I was a punching bag. Just people were consistently, using me in the emotionally, mentally, physically, in that way. Nothing horrible but I felt like I didn't have a strong network of people. But yeah, and through all of that, I did meet some incredible people that I still consider friends today from the day I moved here. But I really think I've become very resilient. And I'm very proud of that. So the first one is that I learned to manage myself. I tend to put a lot on my plate, stress myself out, and therefore stress out the people around me. I do still kind of do that. If I have a very stressful moment, I will, and my mom calls me, right? I will lash out. That sort of thing. That's still something I want to work on. But I've learned to micromanage myself. I am extremely organized, and when anything goes off to plan, I used to get really angry or annoyed, but now I just kind of go with the flow. When it comes to professional stuff, I am a little bit more cutthroat about my management, but when it comes to personal things, if things are just not falling through, then it's perfectly okay. That happens a lot here in London because it tends to rain randomly, and I may have elaborate plans to go on a picnic or something. But just go with the flow. And so learning to manage myself, I've learned that through exercise and meditation in a way, just breathing techniques, I found that a sense of calm, and I'm quite proud of who I've become. And I feel like I've really taken that leap in 2017 from, being quite young and adventurous to a proper adult now. The second biggest obstacle that I found this year was finding inspiration. In the world of in the digital age, I think it's quite difficult to get sucked into what is acceptable, what is not acceptable in a way, and then what sort of life we should be living. Should it be pink and flowery and all glittery and stuff, or is it okay if you have one chair that's a little bit different at the dining room table, right? I found that I was, in the beginning of the year, and even in previous years, I was just consistently scrolling on Instagram, on others' blogs, and finding that my life just wasn't like theirs, and I was kind of beating myself up for not being married, not having this elaborate condo or a house, or etc., etc. And I was really bummed about that because I felt like I was behind in life. But I found that inspiration doesn't technically have to come from other blogs or Instagrams, for that matter. And I found that the way I live my life should be inspiring in its own way, and should continue to inspire me to also be better. So I live my life how I do. I found that reading about other people, like Ariana Huffington and Hillary Clinton, reading about other incredible women and men, people of so many different backgrounds, speaking to people of different, that have come up with such different values and morals and backgrounds. That's where I find inspiration, and so I love who I'm starting to become, and I think that's where I found resilience as well. Is that I saw that there are people who are actually far more disadvantaged than I am, and they're still powering through than I can too. And I would say my third obstacle that I faced this year was being present. This is something that I think I'm going to continue struggling with in 2018. I am the type of person who's consistently organizing the future and trying to figure out, the next thing. And I'm constantly thinking. There's not a moment in time that I'm not thinking. And in that time, I tend to not enjoy. Sometimes I don't enjoy myself, and so I get really. When I look back on different moments or memories and stuff, I kind of bum myself out. There is someone that I met this year, and he's quite into health and well-being. In meeting him, I've realized that I'm quite inspired by that. This is a hard question, because I really had to scrutinize myself for this, but I found that I it was really important to take breaks this year, or in last year, I guess, in 2017. But I found my limits and I acknowledged them. I knew that I couldn't push myself even past my breaking point. In the past, I've always done that, and I was, I would end up on the floor with a tub of ice cream and crying or something like that. But I found that taking a break and acknowledging that I can't do more was perfectly fine. And that can be exemplified by the fact that after my trip from Vienna and after posting about it, I did take a break from the blog. And now I'm back with like rejuvenated inspiration and as well as a buttload of ideas and new skills that like shooting this video completely on my own that I never thought I would be able to do. So I think in 2017, what I started doing near the end of 2017 and what I want to continue doing is that I started I opened myself up to meeting new people. I have always, and this is going to sound horrible, but I have always surrounded myself by just certain caliber of people. I would, it's not that I would see others differently from me, but I just thought, well, if I come from this background and this upbringing and this educational experience or journey, then the people around me should as well, so that we can feed off of each other. But I think this is something that I experienced this year mostly because I met so many types of people, not only in my professional world, but also in blogging. What's interesting about blogging is that people are bloggers but their priority is somewhere else sometimes. And even if they are full-time bloggers, they have some sort of a journey because they're now bloggers, right? In the past they weren't. And I found that those people, no matter what background they came from, like for example, I have a friend named Christabel, who you all know because you see her everywhere with me. But Christabel comes from a knitwear background. And coming from international relations, I wouldn't really cross paths with her. But there has been so much that I've learned from her. And so that has now inspired me to open up to meeting different types of people and being open to the fact that though people may come from a distinct background or upbringing than you, they are still able to provide, enrich your life. Man, 2017 was crazy. I have never traveled so much in my life. I was trying to count all the trains and planes that I've taken, but I couldn't even remember. Like, I remember just sitting there in bed on Christmas Eve and thinking like, what a journey it's been. Every single month I was going to at least one or two trips, and especially from autumn through winter, I was in such incredible places in the world. I started off my autumn in Bruges and then ended up in India, and in between I was in Southeast Asia. And so it was such an incredible journey, and through that, and I think this is someone who comes from an international relations background, but through that I learned so much about different cultures and people that it was very inspiring to bring bits and pieces of that life back to London and to practice it. But I say this every single time, every single day, and every single blog post, but it has definitely been my parents. A lot of you don't know what's happening behind the scenes in my life, the more very personal matter. And this is stuff that I don't feel comfortable as of right now to bring it up, but I hope to in the future. But my parents, my mom plays the role of a motivational speaker to me. She is someone that if I am going through a very hard time, or something emotional, or I need someone to speak to, I always go to her. She's my best friend. And my mom has always been the type of person where I could talk things out. She is the only person that if I am enraged, she will turn me into the most into a yogi, essentially. I am just so calm and collected after speaking to her, and she has a true gift, an art per se. The second person is my dad. So my dad is incredible. So when I was younger, I remember I wanted to get contact lenses, and my dad made me make a spreadsheet of all the different packages you can get from the different optometrists, or like, lens crafters and whatever. And then he made me compare all the different packages and figure out which package was the best and create a Venn diagram, and then I had to present it to him. So my dad, even though I hated it then and I would just get really annoyed and tell my mom, like, he makes my life so difficult, today, now whenever I make a decision, I'm so confident. And I have my dad continues to play that role. I'm not choosing contact lenses or laptops anymore, but I'm making such great decisions, big decisions that are life-changing, big decisions that are inspiring or influencing the next steps that I take in my life. And he's been great. He has taught me how to be the marketer of my business, the accountant for my business, the CEO, the investor, and playing all those roles has really defined me into a very strong person, and on top of that, a very good businesswoman, something that I never thought that I would be able to have, because I come from a diplomacy sort of background. I'm really proud, and I think after 2017 came to an end, it's been the first year ever in my life. I'm getting quite emotional, that I ended the year just thinking, I'm so proud of myself. But the reason why I'm proud is that I chased my dreams. I come from a community of people, and I'm not trying to generalize here, but a community where people have one-word occupations, right? So doctor, engineer, lawyer, etc., etc. And I'm really proud for who I have become, and what I have gained from this. It has been like the toughest journey, because I feel as if there were a lot of community pressures, but with the support of my parents and my family, I was able to overcome that, and it continued to push me to chase my dreams and to chase what I really want to do, and even move out here. So just keeping with it is something that I'm really proud of, and I'm really excited to see where 2018 takes me, just with this motivation and self-admiration as well. And the final question is everything you've done in alignment with your dreams or goals? And it definitely is, yes. I couldn't have asked for a better year. There were a lot of obstacles and challenges in 2017, and I did go through a lot of low periods, but the thing is, all those low periods came out with such great news, and like a very bright light at the end of the tunnel. The obstacles and the challenges were very necessary to keep with my dreams and to meet my goals. But yeah, so anyways, tell me about how your 2017 went in the comments below. I would love to know, and I would love to establish a community here to discuss everything from productivity to lifestyle to just everyday things. I'm really happy to have you all on this incredible life journey with me, and I'm hoping to use 2018 as a Kickstarter to sharing more things about me in my personal life, so to hopefully create a community. Yeah, thank you.